Kangaroo Care is a way for you to hold your baby and touch your baby that involves skin-to-skin contact. We call it Kangaroo Care because it emulates the way a kangaroo would care for her baby in her pouch. Moms, dads can do Kangaroo Care, and even other people, other family members, if a family designates them. There are lots of benefits to this skin-to-skin contact for both babies and parents. For babies, they have been shown to have more stable heart rates, breathing patterns, better sleep when they're in that Kangaroo Care position. In addition, moms who are interested in breastfeeding, they tend to have a better milk supply, earlier initiation of breastfeeding, and longer duration of breastfeeding when they've done skin-to-skin while their baby was in the hospital. This process of skin-to-skin holding improves the way parents bond with their babies and is a very important part of the medical care that we provide. Parents tend to have less stress when they can hold their baby in this position and bond better. They are more comfortable learning how to care for their baby, and our hope is that babies will actually be discharged sooner when parents do this activity with their babies.
Will was born 12 weeks early at Christ Hospital, and completely unexpected, and a transport team from Children's showed up right before he was born, and they were there for his birth, and then they brought him immediately to Children's. And then we stayed at Christ for a few hours, and we got permission to leave, came here to see him, and it was very overwhelming. There were lots of doctors and nurses around him, and he had lots of tubes hooked up to him. He was in a little giraffe bed, and he was intubated, and then after the intubation he had a CPAP on. So it was very scary to see him, and very overwhelming with all of the nurses and doctors and the sounds of the beeping, not really sure what everything meant. And after a few days it got a little bit better, but it was still stressful. I would say probably the first month we were here was pretty stressful, trying to learn all the different terms that they would talk about, bradycardia, and they mentioned NEC and ROP. Everything had abbreviations, so we would have to learn about all these different things that we'd never heard of before. I think rounds was very overwhelming, to have 10 to 20 different nurses and doctors and therapists come to the bedside and talk about your son and his condition and what their recommendations were. And at first we didn't feel like we were really part of the team, that we would just sit and listen, and as time went on we realized and we learned more. We were part of the team, and we gave our input on what we thought his care should be. And then we participated in Kangaroo Care, which was very important to us and really took the stress away from us in the pods with all of the other babies. A lot of times it felt like we didn't really have a role to play in the pods, that he had a nurse and he had a doctor, and there were all of these people attending to him, and it sort of felt like we were in the way. But Kangaroo Care was the one thing that we could provide to him, that there weren't any doctors or nurses in the NICU that could provide that for Will. Only we could do that. And the skin-to-skin contact with Will was great for him and great for us. For him, it helped regulate his heartbeat and his breathing. He had lots of bradycardia and apnea spells early on, 4 or 5 an hour, and when he would kangaroo with myself or my husband, he wouldn't have those spells. So it calmed his breathing. We were also able to kangaroo him before his body temperature was regulated, and his body temperature would be the same as ours when we held him skin to skin. And so he was very stable. And I know that you have to do that for a minimum of an hour, but sometimes we would kangaroo him for 4 hours. And it was wonderful. It was really the only real private time that you get with your son in the NICU, to really be a parent and really just get to kind of snuggle with them, and you're providing something that they need, something that's really important for them.
Smiles has a wonderful story. He came into the world a little early. I was only 24 weeks pregnant, and he came in 16 weeks early. And since then, we've been here at Children's. He was here 6 days after birth due to a perforation in his bowel. So we're here, best place on earth, with all the great care that he's needed and attention that he's needed. So, and he's coming along very well.
He's growing well, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Every day he's growing.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So tell me about, if you can think back to one of your first Kangaroo Care skin-to-skin experiences with Miles and what that was like for you and for him.
Okay, it was scary. It was very scary. One, with all of the information that's out there about Kangaroo Care, I don't think that it's possible. I didn't think it was possible for Miles because he was so small. So many things were, hooked up to him. It was very intimidating being here. You've got the sounds and the noises and everything that are going on in Utmost. You're just careful of him and what's going on. So I was a little scared. But with that, I also knew that, from staff and everyone prompting and promoting me to try it, to do it, then I knew it was something that I wanted to do. Like, from the encouragement, we were like, just don't think about, everything else. It's like, we're here. We're the ones who, will make sure everything is taken care of. We just want to get Miles in your arms. So I said, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And that day, and it was just joyful to have him in my arms, finally in my arms. He was 14 days old at the time, so all I had been able to do was to, look at him through a glass and under lights. So to get him in my arms was truly just a blessing to be able to hold him near my heart and to just feel him in my arms. It was just real and true love.
It's wonderful. Did you notice a change in his body? Did you notice how he responded?
I feel like once he was in my arms, he knew he wasn't in a bed anymore. He knew he was in my arms, and that's where he wanted to be. It just felt right. It just felt good to have him on my skin, heart to heart, chest to chest, just knowing that he was there. And I feel like he knew it. I feel like he knew my voice because I talk to him or I sing to him, and just to say that, I'm here with you, I'm here for you. It's Mommy, right here for you.
He's not alone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's wonderful. When you kangaroo, does he sleep?
He does. He sleeps most of the time. So, which is good, as we know that's when he's growing, and so it's still just to have him in my arms and knowing that he's sleeping and he's comfortable. That lets me know that he's not upset about being in my arms. So it kind of calms me down, makes me feel comfortable, and where we can really truly have the time to enjoy just being together.
That's wonderful. Have you ever fallen asleep?
Yes, I have on a number of occasions. And I'm like, I have to wake up. This is for Miles, not for me. But it's just that comfortable to be able to have him in my arms.
And you know that emotions travel, so if you're relaxed, he's going to be relaxed. And sometimes they even comfort us, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I oftentimes feel the gift is more from him to me than me to him. So it's just awesome to have him in my arms.
One of the hardest things about having a baby in the nursery is not being able to be with your baby every day for 24 hours a day. And so bonding definitely is more difficult for a baby who's in the unit. This kind of contact, skin-to-skin contact, allows families to bond with their babies better than just holding, and provides that closeness and that comfort that these babies are otherwise missing. This is something that only a family can do. The nurses and the doctors can't do this for your baby. This is the one thing that you can provide for your baby.
The best advice that I can give to moms and dads and grandparents that are coming in is to take it not just one day at a time, but 1 hour at a time, and just focus on your baby and not get overwhelmed by all of the sounds of the NICU and everyone else and what they're doing. I think it's easy to kind of sit and look around and be overwhelmed and kind of scared by the environment. But if you can really just focus on your baby and their progress and the little things, their beautiful eyelashes and their fingers, and just focus on the positives, that it really helps you get through those first few weeks that are really so hard.
Teresa, if you were in a room with other parents, maybe in the lounge out there, and you heard some parents talking about Kangaroo Care and they didn't really know what it was or whether they should do it, what would your advice be for them?
To do it, to set aside all fears, to set aside any intimidation that they may have about the machines or anything else around them, or the privacy. They create a private area for you, a private space for you to be able to have your baby in your arms. This is your baby. They want to be in your arms. And as much as you don't think, oh, the baby is fine not being in your arms, well, you really realize you're not fine without your baby in your arms. So to have your baby in your arms is the best feeling. Just try it. You'll like it. You know?